Hello and welcome to After Sound Review. Today I will be reviewing this WILLSOUND MK150. I didn't buy this. This is actually a prototype lent by Mr. Will himself. He's a good friend of mine actually. So this is the first review of MK150. In my review, I will always talk about build quality, sound, and comparison. Right now, actually for the build quality itself, there's not much to be said about this. This is just your everyday earbuds with blue paint on it and with its WILLSOUND WILLSOUND marking on it. And about the cable itself, I don't really like the stiffness of it. As you can tell, it's quite stiff. But fortunately, this is earbuds, you don't really get a lot of microphonics or whatsoever. And as you can see, the braid itself is actually very good. It has kind of, the color is copper actually, but I don't know, maybe because of its sleeving, I can see a bluish tint reflection on it. So it's like a copper with bluish tint color. And then the jack is yarbo. I don't know what is it actually, but yeah, let's go with it. As I've told you before, this is actually a prototype, so he's still asking for some opinions about the sound from me. And to be honest, this is a really good prototype to begin with. And yeah, maybe because it's prototype, it's quite short. The cable is quite short compared to your usual earbuds cable. And also I have with me this red High Audio PR1 to compare. For the build quality, like I said, this is your everyday style earbuds. As you can see from the shape itself, there's no difference. Okay, let's get to the sound. For the sound, for my source, I will always use my trusted hi-fi XDSD. It always helped me to get a good review over a lot of kinds of cans. And also I have with me, as a comparison to, my X Duo X10O. It's a little bit dusty because I always use my hi-fi XDSD. Okay, let's get to the sound. The first thing I want to talk about the sound is the bass. Right from the bass, as you can tell, that earbud has this kind of airy sound to it, and it's also affect the bass, which actually never really good because it feels, actually I never felt a really focused bass on any earbuds, frankly speaking. And it also happens with this WILLSOUND MK150. The bass is punchy. I like it. The bass is punchy, but it's not so deep, but it's tight. So I have tested a lot of pop songs with it, and if you like pop songs or rock or anything with it, the bass is really good, because you can just throw anything at it and it will sound good. It will not sound bad. It's quite fast, it's punchy, throw anything, it all sounds good. Like for me, I usually use from Little Mix. Shout out to my ex, the bass is satisfying for me. And then let's go to what the most people like about earbuds. It's their mids, or usually their vocal sound. How do vocals sound with this MK150. The vocal itself is quite light. It's not so bold, it's not so yeah, it's quite light and it's quite bright, because I find there's an emphasis on the upper mids compared to the lower mids, so it makes the female vocals shines better than male vocals. For example, like I said, I found the little mix sounds good and shines in these earbuds, but when I play something like Andrea Bocelli, his voice is not as strong, as bold as I want to. It just lacks this kind of lower mids to make the female vocal sound as powerful as I'd like. But for female vocals, it's good already. But for female vocal with bold sound like Diana Krall, for me Diana Krall is quite female, but her sound is never bright. Her sound is smooth, it's bold, I like it. I'm not really satisfied with how Diana Krall sounds. Yes, it's still clear, it's still clean, but it doesn't have this kind of smoothness or power that I want from it. And then for the treble itself is quite, actually it's accompanying, I can't find there's a roll off in the upper treble just like your usual earbuds. In the lower treble, yeah, it has an emphasis on lower treble than the upper treble. Of course, I think every bright earbuds is like that. So it has this quite of coherence between the upper mid and then the lower treble to make this sound quite bright, but not really bright. I hope you can understand what I mean. So for the overall sound, I could say this sounds romantic, and it's very good for acoustic musics, like why I said it's quite good for acoustic use. As you can tell, acoustic music don't really need a really punchy bass. It only needs like acoustic music usually use just cajon as their bass, and it sounds good already. It sounds natural. The timbre, it sounds just like what I want to. And also the vocal is light. And acoustic music never sounds powerful. It is light, it is natural. How should I shade it? How should I say it? Acoustic music sounds, yeah, acoustics. Like for Boys Avenue or Ed Sheeran with his song like Tenerife, and then the Photograph. Oh, it sounds really, really romantic. It sounds light. It has this enough kind of bass, and the treble never gets in your face. But the guitar, the timbre of the guitar, it's just like what I want to. The acoustic guitar, of course, not the electric guitar. So this is a very romantic sounding earbud. It never sounds aggressive, nor it sounds blunt. But it's for, just for leisure. It's for acoustic. It's for guitar. You can hear the papepe on it, and it will sound great. And also the last part will be the comparison. I just changed the foam of my Pi PR1, so yeah, it's still like this. But from what I can say, the WILLSOUND MK150 wins in every aspect, from the technicality, but of course when it comes to tonality, it will be depends on you. Pi PR1 is really, really warm. it sounds really blunt. Every kind of song I throw at it, it sounds quite blunt. This MK150, it's like changing from an LCD display to OLED display. You can see everything brighter with much more contrast. Yeah, it sounds much better for me. Better focus and better anything. It just sounds brighter. Of course, for you who like dark sound, warm sound, you will always pick this 5PR1. From the bass, MK150 has tighter bass, it has more punchy bass. The mids, it sounds clearer, it sounds more upfront, but it's brighter. And then the treble, MK150 has much better treble, it has a better extension, but clearer trebles even. And if you want to, actually it's not a fair competition. I just want to say a quick glimpse. This is the famous blonde BL03. Yeah, this is an IEM, as you know. It's not really a fair competition, but yeah, just like I said, earbuds never sound as focused as IEMs. So blonde BL03 has better focus. It has more rounder bass, deeper bass, punchier bass. It also has this more focus and smoother vocal and less bright treble. So yes, MK150 is still brighter here. So for the price itself, right now Will haven't told me about the price, but I'm guessing it will be around $50, but I don't know. He will announce it himself. You can contact him, like always, in Willy. If you're in Facebook, you just contact WILLSOUND ID, and that's it. This is the review for WILLSOUND MK150. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks. See you.